I'm Tina Elrod, and if you watched my blog yesterday, you would have seen that I had my son's girlfriend on here with me yesterday, Danielle, and she was sharing a little bit about her issues with dating and just the commitment that she made to the Lord when as a teenager concerning dating. And if you didn't watch it, I encourage you to go and check it out, because I'm so proud of her for sharing her heart on that subject, because it is something that she dealt with, and it wasn't always easy for her, but it has worked out so wonderful for her, because I watched her through the entire process, from the time she made the commitment until the time that she was united with the person that the Lord had brought to her. And it was a blessing, not just because the person was my son, but just because I watched this young lady gain in maturity and gain in the openness that she had to learn how to love someone and to allow someone into her heart, and to just the whole process. It's just been a blessing to watch, and I encourage you to go back and watch that if you haven't already. But today what I want to talk about is kind of the legwork behind all that, because that didn't just happen. Max and I got married. We'd been married for about 5 years, but before we were married, I was having some health issues, and I had to go to the doctor. And during one of my exams, the doctor had told me that I had a issue going on with my uterus, and that I probably would not be able to conceive. Probably wasn't going to be able to have any kids. And if I did happen to get pregnant, that it would be a difficult pregnancy. I was just going to have trouble. It was just not a very positive, outlook that the doctor had concerning my childbearing. So I just kind of brushed that to the side. Never really, not that I didn't believe it, but I still saw myself having kids. I believed that I was going to have children. And so after Max and I had been married for about 5 years, I had what I thought was the flu. Went to the doctor. They ran some tests, and I'll never forget the doctor coming in and saying to me, "What would you think about? How would you feel if you were pregnant?" And I was like, "Don't even kid me about that," because it was just one of those things that I just fantasized about, dreamt about, being a mother. And long story short, I was pregnant. They did some more tests and found out I was pregnant. And just from the moment that I saw the little sonogram and knew for sure that I was pregnant, I was so happy. The joy that filled up inside of me it was unbelievable. I went that day, I left the doctor's office and went and bought maternity clothes. I was so excited to be pregnant, and I loved everything about being pregnant. I loved getting fat. I loved it all. I loved everything. And so when I had Hunter, I had to have a C-section, but it wasn't because of any health issues with him. He was born very healthy, with the exception of a few little bumps we've had along the way. He's always been a very healthy child. And I think, the Lord had his hand on my womb from the beginning. He formed that precious child, and he's been a blessing ever since. I could go on and on about that, but we're going to move on forward here. When Hunter was a baby, Max and I started praying over him. We started praying about his future. We started praying specifically about two things, really, that we prayed specifically about. One was his future career, that he would be successful. We prayed that he would be successful. And the other thing that we prayed for was his future wife. We started praying for her. We started praying that God would protect her, would keep her encouraged, that God would surround her with people that would love her and bring her up in such a way that she could be not presented, but, that she would be healthy, that she would be pure, that she would be loving. These are the things that we prayed for his wife. And I know I've shared that with people over the years, and especially when he was little, I would get some crazy looks, like, I even had one person tell me, don't grow him up so fast, he's just a baby. Why are you talking about him being married? But we did. We felt it was very important to just speak that and believe that, that the Lord was preparing someone that would take him into his future as an adult. And anyway, we are so blessed that we have been able to watch the Lord do exactly that. He has come through on every promise that he has ever made concerning our son. And we continue to pray for his future and pray for his success. I mentioned yesterday that it's easy for us to pray for the here and now. When there's an issue going on, we can go in there and pray up and pray about that issue to get past something. But how often do we pray just about our future? How often do we speak things that have yet to come? That the Bible tells us to do that. The Bible tells us, in Jeremiah 29:11, he says, "For I know the plans I have for you, and it's a plan to prosper you and not to harm you." He's to give us a hope and a future. That's why we have hope. It's because he gave it to us. It's important that we know that. It's important that we know why we have hope. It's important to know that the Lord is concerned about our future, not just the here and now, not just about getting us day by day, living day by day. We're not promised tomorrow, but if we have a tomorrow, we're promised that we have hope for it. We have a hope and a joy for our future. And not just for us, but for our children, which is what I'm focusing on today. It's just our kids. And not trying to sit up here and act like, Max and I have been the model parents, because we've made lots of mistakes. But the thing about making mistakes, anytime you're learning something, we weren't born to know how to be parents. You learn. And parenting is one of those on-the-job situations. And so you learn. And as you learn, you make mistakes, you learn from those mistakes. And I think it's also really important to pass on the knowledge that you receive, and to be pliable to receive that knowledge from someone else that's been through raising children, which is what we're talking about today. I talk to people who have already raised kids, and I listen to them. I listen to the mistakes that they made and the things that they learned through those mistakes. It's very important that we remain teachable in all aspects of our life. But anyway, I wanted to share that about the parenting issue, because it is so important to be a praying parent. Our kids are out there and they're facing things that we never would even dream of facing when we were kids. We had our own set of things that we faced. I know I did, but there's so much more out there, that the enemy is throwing at our kids every single day. And the last thing they need is a parent at home that's throwing it out there just as much as the world is. What they need is a parent at home that is praying for them, that is speaking life over them, that is speaking life into their future. When they come home or when they're with us, they really need that we fill them with that, because the world's not going to fill it. It's not going to fill them with it. We cannot expect the world to fill them with a hope for their future. That's our job. So I hope you're encouraged by that today. Like I said, please don't think that I am a know-it-all parent that wants to tell everybody else how to do their job, because I'm not. I'm still learning, because my son is still making mistakes. We're still making mistakes, and we're trying our very best to learn from each mistake that is made, and just, we plan and prepare for the absolute wonderful, out of this world future that Daddy God has for us, for Hunter. So be encouraged today, and have a wonderful day. Hug your kids. Tell your kids how wonderful they are. You know, even if they're on your last nerve, tell them how wonderful they are today. Tell them how happy you are and how blessed you are to have them in your life today. If they're a little kid, if they're a teenager, if they're an adult, show them some love today and have a blessed day.